Jane Kilcher, Alaskan Last Frontier, Multitudinous Adversities, Glacial Alaskan Expanse. Abrupt matrimonial dissolution, Lee Kilcher devotee consternation, interrogative pursuit. Veritable rationales, enigmatic hitherto. Inquisitive veritable occurrence? Accompany narrative Jane concealed chronicle adversities. Alaskan Last Frontier, foundational cognition. Jane revelation antecedent, familial assimilation imperative. Alaskan Last Frontier, American verisimilitude, televisual, decennial spectator captivation. Discovery Channel, December 29, 2011, November 13, 2022. Kilcher, familial, resilient, autonomous, septuagenarian, octogenarian, Swiss, immigrant, Alaskan, vanguardial, Ruth Kilcher, Homestead, inception. Homer, peripheral, 11 miles, generational transmission, existential paradigm, survivalist tradition. Contemporary convenience, repudiation. Calorific, modernity, absolution, artisanal subsistence. Venatic, piscatorial, agrarian, hibernal, cataclysmic orchestration, diurnal nucleus. Jewel, vocalist, melodic, global luminary. Kilcher, paternal progenitor, serial centrality, Jewel, paternal lineage, supplemental intrigue. Filmic, denouement, familial, accidental discovery. Alaskan topicality. Jewel, familial, televisual, serendipity. Jewel, episodic, reintegration, ancestral, Alaskan immersion. Jane, Lee consort, spectator, enchantment. Jane Kilcher, quintessential attributes. Jane Kilcher, verisimilitude, televisual archetype, indelible vignettes. Piscatorial proficiency, familial deliberation, tenacity. Alaskan glacial ally, resilience, comedic compassion. Homesteading beacon. Kilcher, nativity, negation, Alaskan narrative assimilation. Lee consort, transcendence, terrestrial, arduous, climatic. Homer, proximal, coastal, infancy, piscatorial, virtuosity. Familial, agrarian, venatic, divergence. Piscatorial, supremacy, familial, sustenance, glacial, yonder. Colossal, salmon, glacial, aquatic, navigation, captivation. Equilibrial, levity, stoic, Kilcher, masculine. Humorous, acuity, atmospheric, alleviation. Spectator, genuine, connectivity. Vulnerability, avowal, trepidation, inundation, Alaskan survival, rarity. Contemporary, Kilcher, existential bridge. Extra homestead, temporal, fresh, perspectival infusion. Generational homesteading, absolution, wilderness, triumph, demonstration. Devotee, relatability. Jane Odyssey, meteorological inconstancy. Familial disputation, profundity, personal tribulation. Medial, dramatic, extra cinematic. Privacy, fortification, Lee consort, fisherwoman, reductionism, aversion, narrative, profundity. Extra cinematic, fierce, autonomy, Piper, maternal devotion, limelight, privacy, cherishment. 2023, unanticipated, matrimonial cataclysm. Cherished frontier, apical, existential, public tribulation, transition. Jane, vocational adversities. Verisimilitude, televisual reverie, simplistic negation. Petite screen, luminary, unanticipated trajectory. Pleasant adversarial inception. Alaskan Last Frontier, prominence. Celebrity, medial, personal scrutiny, complication. Piscatorial depiction, comfort, inception. Temporal constraint, multidimensional, individuality. Televisual, multidimensional, omission, character, flattening, Kilcher, masculine, homestead, dramatic, overshadow. Maternal, spousal contribution, extra cinematic. Portrayal, dissatisfaction, stereotype, fisherwoman, frustration. Editorial, omission, tribulation, critical election, personal maturation, extra cinematic. Fisherwoman, imagery, prevalence. Jane character, Alaskan Last Frontier, familial, dynamic, editorial, predilection, masculine, luminescence. Kilcher, familial, Alaskan vastitude. Senior, patriarchal, tenacity, experiential. Lee, adventurous, rebellious, exhilaration, terrestrial, affinity. Jane, masculine, equilibrium, strength, skill, grounding, familial, integral. Temporal role, metamorphosis. Feminine, Kilcher, centrality, negation, masculine, glacial, adversity, focal. Lee, perpetual, limelight. Jane, supportive, relegation. Masculine, meteorological, peril, audacious, vocation, Jane, contribution, diminishment. Fisherwoman, reductionism, survival, singular. Editorial masculine emotional intensity magnification. Jane tribulation victory minor dramatic negation. Uneven portrayal masculine nature combatants Jane comparative insignificance. Athlete complex on-screen off-screen. Fearless adventurous risk propensity. At senior progeny terrestrial affinity familial traditional collision. Free spirit wild responsibility oscillation. Serial narrative personal emotional. Extra-televisual relational profundity cinematic partiality. Deeper relational privacy. Marital undulation cinematic ats Lee Jane narrative engagement lacuna. Ats Lee personal audacity emotional centrality Jane narrative umbrage. Grisly navigation ancestral confrontation Jane familial cohesion. Maternal homesteader survival integral. Quiet fortitude cinematic rarity. Ats Lee audacious demonic Jane domiciliary orchestration familial exigency unnoticed. Editorial masculine larger-than-life emotional odyssey. At senior ats Lee profundity Jane afterthought. Jane luminescence undeniable. Editorial airtime appreciation lacuna. Vital contribution supportive player Kilcher masculine narrative. Familial controversy conjecture. Temporal familial tension augmentation. Superficial cohesion subterfuge disagreement relational strain. Jane familial collision dramatic augmentation. Public scrutiny minuscule exaggeration. Headlines harmony facade negation. Jane Kilcher relational collateral dramatic. Speculation criticism Jane fortitude. Masculine challenge focal Jane consistent quieter validation. Limelight negation essential cohesion. Narrative volume disparity importance parity. Jane medial support authentic extra cinematic. Progeny familial profundity love tribulation televisual omission. Criticism metamorphosis devotee verisimilitude televisual partiality cognition. Judgment limitation transcendence real Jane supporting archetype negation. Jane fortitude elevation. Televisual role equilibrium frustration cognition. Extra cinematic editorial stereotype expectation negation. Portrayal definition refusal. Discouragement, aversion, motivational transmutation. Authentic extra cinematic luminescence. Televisual limitation propulsion path, autonomous demonstration, fisherwoman transcendence. Fisherwoman inception, greater symbol resilience, misrepresentation, refusal, authentic visibility. Wilderness, survival, self-assertion, definition, liberation, strength, multifarious. Apical fortitude ats Lee near fatal cataclysm. Alaskan adversity, perennial survivor, limitation, confrontation, existential survival. Unanticipated endurance. Adventurous intrepidity, wilderness, combat, existential. 2015 companion excursion, precipitous cataclysm. Brutal precipice, descent, plurifracture, arm, leg, ribs. Catastrophic potentiality. Grim recuperative odyssey, plural surgical rehabilitation endurance apex. Traumatic relational diurnal emotional inversion. Jane instantaneous ascension ats Lee recuperative anchor domiciliary orchestration. True fortitude quiet determination spousal exigency. Flashy negation authenticity. Ats Lee recuperative marital pressure accumulation. Physical emotional duality. Cataclysmic existential metamorphosis, stress, inevitability. Marital whisper amplification, Kilcher partnership, solidity fissure. Jane isolation responsibility, ats Lee personal demonic. Cataclysmic emotional wedge. Public ocular profundity tribulation. Audience minuscule discussion. Rumor ineffability. Relational solidity facade subterfuge. Jane rumor dictation refusal. Tabloid, dramatic negation. Familial prioritization. Outsider cognition irrelevance, spousal luminescence. Marital interrogation perpetuity. Kilcher adversity transcendence, deeper, irreparable rift inception. Emotional maelstrom ats Lee strength independence control identity. Devastating descent recuperation self-reliance negation. Jane dependency unprecedented. Wild boundary propulsion Jane grounding. Dynamic equilibrium cataclysm reversal. Fierce independence assistance ingestion. Jane emotional vulnerability, spousal caretaking burden. Physical emotional relational navigation. Lee reality resistance tension genesis. Support strain toll. Public ocular cinematic perpetual. Private processing cinematic negation. Medial speculation commentary relational. Supportive positivity attention intensity privacy lacuna. Marital stress recuperative rupture conjecture. Relational fortitude cataclysmic challenge introduction. Dramatic shift strain inevitability. Physical emotional curative apical partnership examination. Obstacle substantial hardship forge. Jane Kilcher separation abrupt negation. Formal dissolution tribulation pluridimensional. 2019 apical rupture. Physical cataclysm posterior pre-incident individuality negation. 2023 Jane Lee divorce public avowal devotee consternation. Whisper conjecture posterior sorrowful enlightening declaration. Mutual emotional distress. Jane heartbreak candor. Personal emotional tribulation temporal divergence. Honesty, pain, disappointment, sadness, consummation. Devotee Alaskan last frontier authenticity resonance. Lee measured avowal emotional elaboration negation. Separation progression cognition. Emotional restraint personal processing. Resentment negation public disputation dramatic allegation absolution. Love story denouement evolution spatial curative necessity. Posterior Jane Lee path rediscovery. Lee serial guarded Jane limelight distanciation health progeny prioritization. Separation distress curative temporal realization. Divorce rectitude narrative profundity. Jane post-divorce existence. Jane existential passivity negation proactive challenge adventure immersion. Bering Sea gold glacial submersion. Gold mining elevation risk glacial aquatic nature wager. Homestead rugged dredging aquatic gnome Alaskan. 2021 Emily Riedel captaincy gestational dredge stewardship. Adventure propulsion. Frigid aquatic gold pressure underwater mining crew planetary peril. Equipment daunting condition harsh crew dynamic strain. Challenge aversion negation balance dredging proficiency teammate respect determination infusion. Adaptation severe motivational. Video plotted subscription screen cinematic propulsion.